The S&P 500 has just broken to a new all-time high for the first time in over 2 years. Blue sky territory has officially been achieved on the charts. If you're unsure what that is, don't worry, we'll talk about it in a little bit. And honestly, you guys, this is just really good news for the entire US stock market. The bulls definitely have reason to celebrate right now. So, in this video, I want to take a look at the SPY and talk to you guys about where I think the SPY can go in the weeks ahead as we head into the month of February following this brand new all-time high. But more importantly, I want to talk to you about where I'm personally seeing outsized opportunity in the markets. And if you've been following along, you would know that that's small cap. So we're also going to take a look at the Russell 2000 small cap index and our IWM. And I'll also give you guys a few specific small cap plays that I'm really excited about that have already been providing us some pretty impressive returns over at Waves Capital. Okay, so that's the video, you guys. Before we get into the charts, I figured that I'd just read over my analyses that I wrote this morning in my Trade Alert newsletter talking about the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000. I could just ramble, but I already have my thoughts nicely composed right here, so I figure it's better for both of us if I just read over this guy. Okay, once again, this is my Trade Alert newsletter. Before we get to reading, if you guys want to know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis, if you want these daily trade alerts that don't only include my trades just for the, I scroll down super fast because right above this is my full portfolio. For example, today, I picked up more Palantir calls and more Riot Platforms calls. I'll give you a couple of names that I'm excited about already. Okay, Palantir and Riot Platforms. They were down 25% and 15% today. At the end of the day, I think those Palantir calls specifically were up like 40 or 50%. Okay, so I want to make it very clear right now as well. I am not a day trader. Okay, I do trade options. I trade options contracts specifically. These are call options contracts. I'm not a day trader. Although these appreciated a whole lot since I bought them just over the course of the trading day as we closed out the week, I didn't take any profits. These, for the most part, these expire a week from today. That's about as close as I'll ever go when I'm trading options contracts. But typically, I have a 1 month to a 5 month time horizon. See, these Riot calls are March 15th Riot calls, okay? So, swing trading, in my opinion, is not only more lucrative and more profitable because you're not battling all the quants and hedge fund algorithms that are day trading against you. It rewards skill and due diligence more than day trading does for the reasons that I just announced. So I'm rambling a little bit right now, you guys. If you want to learn how to trade options on both the Robinhood and TD Ameritrade apps, there's video examples in my options course. That's the first link in the description. If you want my daily emails, my daily trade alerts, and a full access to my complete personal portfolio, then that's the first link below as well. That one, $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. You choose your pricing plan. It's completely up to you. But if you do choose to join, then welcome to the winning team. Plugs aside, let's get into this S&P 500. Okay, so scroll up real quick out of respect for existing members. The S&P 500 has officially broken to a new all-time high. The SPY's prior all-time high was set on January 4th of 2022. So this one was over 2 years in the making. And as you can see right here, let's zoom in a little bit, get specific. The SPY's all-time high prior to today was on January 4th, once again of 2022, at about $479.80. Okay? Although we don't have direct exposure to the SPY, this macro achievement should still make waves throughout the portfolio. The S&P 500 is composed of the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the US. This index provides the clearest look into the health of the US economy, so new highs are extremely good news for investor sentiment. Okay, let's keep reading. As I say with Bitcoin, when the king climbs, the kingdom follows. What's good for the S&P 500 is good for the entire US equity market. Technically speaking, the SPY has officially entered blue sky territory on the charts. This is where there are no historical levels of resistance that can stand in its way. And as I'm sure you can imagine, this is very bullish. So I think the S&P 500 rallies in the week ahead. Again, we're heading into the final full week of January 26th. We still have some January left in the week ahead, but you guys, I think the latter half of this month will be exciting. Again, I see upside potential, which we'll talk about right now in the SPY in the weeks ahead. But what I'm really excited about is small caps, which I'm honestly a lot more excited to dive into the charts with after this. So we'll get to reading that after we take a look at the SPY. But right now, let's take a look at this S&P 500. Okay, so again, 2 years, over 2 years now since we've seen an all-time high. And this morning, I mean, the SPY rips what do we rip? 1.25%. It's looking good, you guys. And my target, as far as I'll just say this is my February 1st target. I think it could be sooner, given just, again, the fact that we're now in blue sky territory. There are no historical levels of resistance that can act as direct ceilings for the S&P 500. But there is one area that I think will come into play as resistance. Again, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw this in the week ahead prior to February. But just to play conservatively, by February 1st, I think that the S&P 500 can make its way up just over almost 3.5% in order to test the line of resistance on this long-term macro ascending channel that's really been in play, I would say, since the fall of 2022. Okay, so in the short term, short to medium term, maybe, again, next couple of weeks, if you're watching this video in mid-January, I do think that the SPY can climb another 3 to 4% to test the top line of resistance here. That would bring us really, really close to $500. And that makes sense too, because 500 is a very strong psychological even. I do think we'll see some resistance around there. That said, I think there's reason to be bullish. I do think, regardless of a warmer than expected CPI report from December, that the S&P 500 will lead the markets higher over the course of 2024. Once again, exceptionally, both, I guess, both work there. Exceptionally excited about small caps, and I'll talk to you guys about where I think the Russell 2000 can go over the next couple of weeks into February, okay? Once again, though, let's read over the Trade Alert newsletter. As you know, I've been especially bullish on small caps in 2024. Although the Russell 2000 hasn't performed as I hoped or expected it to over the past couple of weeks, I think it'll be making up some ground in the weeks ahead. Small caps are still historically cheap relative to large to mega caps. The S&P 500, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq 100, the big three, have all achieved new all-time highs over the past month. But the Russell 2000 is nearly 30% away from its prior all-time high. And we can actually jump in right here to look at that. Okay, so if we zoom out, you can see here that the Russell 2000's prior all-time high was in November of 2021 at about 245. We're currently sitting at $192. That is just over 28% away from where we're currently sitting, okay? So there's still a lot of ground to make up, especially considering all three of the major indices have just, achieved new all-time highs. The Russell 2000, maybe we don't see it super soon. I don't think the Russell 2000 is going to climb 30% in the next couple of weeks. It's possible, but unlikely. But I do think we can rally 14 to 15%. And I'll try to, I'll rationalize that after we finish reading this here, okay? So, more mean reversion is in order. I believe that new all-time highs are waiting for the IWM in 2024, and I'll continue to reinforce this belief with my dollar. So, again, those of you who are members of Waves Capital already would know this. The Russell 2000 has a pretty large spot. It's one of my top positions, one of my top holdings in the call options portfolio. And again, I just want you guys to know that my money is where my mouth is. I'm not just saying this stuff. I'm actively trading upon what I'm saying, and that goes for every video I've ever made. Okay, so that said, let's just jump into the Russell. I think I just go over some price targets here, so we'll just elaborate that. Again, you guys, if you want to trade with me on a daily basis, it's the first link in the description of this video. That said, the Russell 2000 has some very exciting times ahead of it. We clawed back into the green today. We're looking good in after hours as we head into the weekend, and I think we have a very, very big week ahead of us. Again, granted, you guys are watching this over the course of this weekend. I'm super excited for what the rest of January has in store for small caps. The January effect, seasonality-wise, I guess seasonally, the month of January always favors small caps, okay? Small caps tend to perform better in the month of January. They've had a rough month because a lot of that probably January effect was priced in the rally we saw in December. So the month of January has actually sucked so far for the IWM. But I do think that there's still time to make up some ground, and I think it happens before February, if I'm being completely honest, okay? I think, as far as shorter term targets are concerned, that this line of broken support, let's go to 4 hours so it's get a little more crispy. This line of also stochastic RSI and 4-hour RSI are looking good. Daily RSI, daily stochastic RSI is starting to look promising if we can break above that that EMA, that little white line right there, then that's very, very bullish too. But 4 hour, shorter term, looking very, very strong. Just to preface, just kind of reinforce my bullish opinion here. I think that the Russell 2000, the IWM, will retest this line of broken support right here, this cyan line. You can see it was in play from early November, broke below, has yet to retest this line of broken support as new resistance. In technical trading, especially if you're using just, the good old stick figures, this is probably the most reliable trade that in my opinion, this is like the most reliable technical trade you can make from a swing trader's perspective. If we can break above, this line of short-term resistance, this yellow line right here, if we can break above this, which we're getting close to, if we can see a green day on Monday, then I really do think that a rally up to this line of broken support will come into play. And again, by next Friday, which is January 26th, if all goes accordingly, I would be surprised if we see a 208 to 210 Russell 2000 IWM. Okay. If that sounds crazy, then just remember back here in mid-December, we rallied from $185 to $200, which is almost 8% in the span of 2 days. So it's possible. We just saw it just over a month ago. You can see how much the Russell 2000 small cap index is more volatile. And that's the nice thing about trading it and really trading the momentum if you catch it correctly. And, more volatility leads to more potential gains. And this is where I see those gains, potential gains, got to say potential. This is where I really do see some potential outsized returns, especially relative to if you just want to trade an index, the Russell 2000, I think, is looking very, very appealing right now. Okay. Once again, you guys, my money's where my mouth is. Please let me know in the comments down below what you're excited about, what your favorite stock, small cap preferably, or large cap, whatever. What's your favorite stock right now? Let me know in the comments below. And, if you want to ride the waves, subscribe to the channel. If you really want to ride the waves, if you want to get in there, if you want to get in the action, once again, that's the first link in the description. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm excited for what's ahead of us. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.